One day, your child will stop reaching for your hand at the parking lot. They will stop asking you to pick out their clothes, stop needing you to pour their cereal, stop following you into the bathroom, which, after years of begging for privacy, should really feel like a miracle. Somehow, it does not, because the independence that you prayed for can feel like rejection when it finally arrives. The child who once cried when you left the room may eventually act like being seen with you in public could ruin their entire reputation. The child who once told you every detail of their life may start answering every question with fine, nothing, I don't know. In the teenage classic, can I just go to my room? Parents, before you get offended, before you assume their friends have replaced you, before you start fighting to get the old relationship back, understand what is happening. You are not losing your child. You are losing an old version of your relationship. They are not loving you less. They need you differently. When children are little, you are almost their entire world. You feed them, you dress them, protect them, answer every question, and locate objects sitting directly in front of their faces. You are the comforter, the problem solver, the decision maker, the person they run to first. And without realizing it, being needed becomes part of your identity. Then adolescence arrives and your job begins to change. That transition can hurt because sometimes parents do not miss their child being little. They miss being essential in the same way. Adolescence is the bridge between childhood and adulthood, and children do not cross that bridge in one smooth, peaceful walk. They run forward, back, trip over something, announce that they know everything, then ask you where the ketchup is while staring directly into the refrigerator. In the preteen years, they begin wanting more privacy. During the teenage years, they start asking, who am I? What do I believe? Where do I belong? As adulthood gets closer, they begin testing, not always because they're rejecting it. Sometimes they're deciding what they will carry for themselves. They are no longer children, but they are not finished adults either. They are under construction, and construction sites are rarely quiet. One of the hardest parts of parenting a growing child is accepting that healthy development requires some separation. Their world begins expanding beyond your home. Friends, coaches, teachers, mentors, teams, clubs, work, church groups, new interests, new experiences. That does not automatically mean you've been replaced. It means their life is getting bigger. They are not loving you less. They are learning how to live in a world larger than your house. Do not punish them for growing. Sometimes your child comes home excited about something they did without you. They went to a game, spent time with friends, visited another family, had a great conversation with coach, and they cannot stop talking about how much fun they had. Parent can hear excitement and quietly become offended. Oh, so you had that much fun without us? You never act that happy at home. I guess their house is better than ours. Do not make your child pay an emotional tax for enjoying life without you. Their happiness somewhere else is not an insult to your parenting. You should want your child to have healthy relationships. You should want trustworthy adults to see something valuable in them. You should want them to discover safe places where they are encouraged, challenged, and known. Their support system is getting bigger. Because their support system is getting bigger does not make you less important. It makes them more supported. Now, does that mean you send them anywhere with anybody? No. Freedom without structure can become neglect. But structure without growing freedom becomes captivity. The answer is not to lock them inside the house because the world is dangerous. The answer is to help them enter the world wisely. Give them safe places to grow: a sport, a club, a youth group, a job, a mentor, a trusted relative, a responsible friend's home. Places where they can build relationships, develop skills, make decisions, and test what you've taught them. While responsible people still care, know where they are, know who they are with, know whether adults are present. Know the expectations. Your goal is not unlimited freedom. It's prepared freedom. Think of home like a charging dock or the safe base in a game of tag. The purpose of the base is not to keep everyone standing on it forever. The purpose is to give them somewhere safe to return. Child goes out. They interact with people. They make choices. They use energy. Sometimes they get overwhelmed. Sometimes they get disappointed. Sometimes they make mistakes. Then they come home to recharge, to process, to receive guidance, and to remember who they are. Home should not be the place they are desperate to escape. It should be the place they know they can return without pretending everything went perfectly. When they come back, do not immediately begin the interrogation. Who was there? What did they say? Why are you acting different? Who were you sitting beside? You should ask questions, but curiosity and interrogation feel completely different. Try something like, how did it go? What was the best part? Did anything feel uncomfortable? What did you learn? What would you do differently next time? You are not trying to catch them having a life. You are teaching them about how to think about the life they are building. The goal is not to collect information. The goal is to help them develop judgment. And yes, they may come home with a new behavior, a new phrase, a different tone. Suddenly, they are saying something nobody in your house has ever said with the confidence of someone who personally invented the English language. Correct it, but do not let your fear control the correction. You can say, I know you may hear people speak that way, but that is not how we speak here. So you may have seen that somewhere else, but it does not align with who you are becoming. You do not have to turn every correction into an emotional explosion. You want your child to regulate their emotions? Show them what regulation looks like. Do not teach calm in a voice that shakes the windows. Do not tell them to stop being dramatic while slamming cabinets because they asked to go somewhere. Correct the behavior. Do not punish the growth. And parents, before blaming the world for every change in your child, look in the mirror. Yes, culture influences them. Friends influence them. Music, entertainment, social media influence them, but we influence them too. Children do not only listen to our instructions, they study our patterns. Do not become furious that your child complains about everything. If complaining is the background music of your home, do not act shocked when they yell during conflict. If every disagreement they have watched ends with adults yelling, do not become confused when they hit or intimidate others if force is what they have seen used to control people. Do not be surprised when they search for unhealthy ways to escape uncomfortable situations if all they've ever seen adults do is numb, avoid, or run from their own. That does not mean every struggle in your child is your fault. But before saying, I do not know where they got that from, have enough humility to ask, have they seen any version of this in me? The mirror is not there to shame you. It shows you where growth can begin. Your child's growing independence may expose areas where you still need to grow. You may need to learn how to give advice without demanding obedience in every preference, how to express concern without using guilt, how to set boundaries without making everything personal, how to let them make a reasonable choice even when it's not the choice you would have made, how to allow manageable consequences without rushing in to control every outcome. When they were little, you were their manager. You made most of the decisions. As they grow, you become the coach. You still provide structure. You still call out what you see. You still set boundaries, but you also ask questions. You let them practice. You let them make some mistakes while the consequences are still manageable. And as adulthood approaches, you become more of an advisor. They may not follow every recommendation, but you want the relationship to remain strong enough that they still value your wisdom. Some parents resist this transition. Every friendship is a threat. Every outing is a problem. Every new interest feels like rejection. The child asks to go somewhere and the answer is always no. Not because the situation feels unsafe, not because their responsibilities are incomplete, but because the parent is afraid of losing influence, afraid the child will enjoy other people, afraid they will no longer be needed. But when you block every healthy attempt at independence, your child may begin seeing you as a person standing in between them and their life. That creates resentment. And eventually, they may stop asking, not because they no longer want to go, but because they've learned that honesty always gets punished. You do not protect connection by controlling everything. Sometimes too much control creates the secrecy you were trying to prevent. Stop competing with your child's friends who are not applying for the same position. Their friends provide companionship. You provide foundation. A coach may develop their skills. A mentor may speak into one area of their life. You remain part of the place they call home. You do not have to be their favorite person every day. You need to be steady, safe, wise, honest, available. There may be seasons when they talk to someone else first. Do not become so offended that you stop being available when they are finally ready to talk to you. And stop expecting love to look exactly the way it looked when they were 5. At 5, love may look like sitting in your lap. At 10, it may look like showing you something they made. At 14, it may look like sitting silently in the same room. At 16, it might look like asking you for a ride, then telling you something important halfway there while looking straight out the window. At 19, it may look like calling you for advice, but beginning the conversation with, so, hypothetically, or I'm asking for a friend. Learn to recognize love in its new forms. They may not hug you in front of their friends, but they may still look for you in the crowd. They may not say they need you, but they may still feel safer knowing you are there. They may not always want you to solve the problem. They may need you to listen while they learn how to solve it themselves. They do not need you less. They need you differently. I'll see you in the next episode.